Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. And this week, joining us from the UK, we have Rohit, Ratan, Mani. Hey, Rohit, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks, Vasco, for having me.
Absolutely. So Rohit is an Enterprise Agile Coach, helping leaders, individuals, and teams to develop a growth mindset to be top achievers in their respective work area and in personal life. Rohit, that was a short intro. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you end up becoming a Scrum Master?
So my journey started a long time back in India, working as a developer and then getting opportunity to move and work as a BA and then as a project manager. I've been in the dark side of things,
which we know so well.
Yes, so I've been in that life. I used to make all those fancy project plans, those Gantt charts and stuff, and from there on, as part of my work, while I was working as a project manager, part of my organization, another part of my organization was doing an ERP transformation, and they had consultants and coaches coming in. I was really curious to, what is this all about? And even working as a project manager, I've always believed it's about teams, it's about people, and how can I build that relationship and then get them engage with them, help them to be a better self. And that curiosity led me to learn more about agility, learn more about agile concepts and lean concepts. And luckily, I transitioned into from a project manager. I got a role of a Scrum Master in a small organization, about 15 to 17 developers, and they were trying to launch a new product. And that's where I learned about Scrum Mastery. I had a good mentor who understand about Scrum Mastery and really mentored me to learn and get better as a Scrum Master. So, and that's where my journey started into this agile world.
Absolutely. And of course, we get here from many different backgrounds. I myself was also a project manager, as I often refer to here on the podcast. I'm a recovering project manager. And of course, with those changes come, of course, challenges, since not everything we learn as project managers directly applies to our role as Scrum Masters. In fact, there are things we never learned as project managers that we need to learn as Scrum Masters as well. So let's dive into one of those stories, a story of a moment, Rohit, where you as a Scrum Master, you did your best, but at that time, as so often happens, the best just wasn't good enough. We'll dive into the details and insights later, but tell us that story first.
So this was initially at the start of my Scrum Master's life, and as you know, I still had that mindset of project manager, where I was trying to control things, I was trying to manage things, and I was looked up to by people, thinking, oh, this person is someone, if he says this, we will have to do this. So it was all very one directional, and with that mindset, I started my Scrum Mastery. And while working with those development teams, I was still working in that mindset. And I would used to say, we will have to do this. We have to do this. I would run those sessions. I would run being a facilitator, and I would be more directive. And I would say I was not very reflective or retrospecting or introspecting on my behalf. And that's where I thought, when I look back at it, and I think, that was not a good Scrum Master's approach, which I came to know as my mentor taught me. Mentors, were able to help me understand, what if you're not there? What if one day you don't turn up for a meeting? Will that meeting happen? What if you're not there? Will the team make a decision?
But did that happen? Did that actually happen, that you had to be away and then you confronted or you saw what the team did, or was that more like a reflection tool for you?
No, it happened. So it happened, and it was more like an enlightenment for me to say,
So walk us through that. What actually happened?
So, so we were doing this product development, a new product, and we had a client who wanted to use our thing as as an offer for to provide feedback, and we were developing some functionality which would help the client to work on it. And I, along with the product owner, was really engaged with this client, and all what I had done was all communication from development team would happen through me, and I had become more of a manager there. And I remember I went for a few days of unplanned leave or something, and when I came back there were a lot of questions that they were still pending. Teams were not moved on, they were stuck, they had picked up new things without even resolving or unblocking older things, and it was chaos. And when I came back, it seemed as if there's a pile of things not done. There's a lot of things that is being done, and there's no communication to the client. And product owner was more on doing client engagement, more on client focus, and not very close to the team's technical aspect and those questions. And I was taking that lead. I was managing that aspect, and it turned out I was a bottleneck then. And it was a revelation for me. And when I had presented it back to my mentor, and it went to another direction, it made me realize what I was doing.
So how did you feel at that moment, right? Like you come back from your leave and you get to the team, maybe in the daily meeting, I imagine you start hearing all of those things that are not yet resolved. Maybe some of them were already open before you left on your leave. Like how did it feel for you as the Scrum Master to get back from your leave and see where they were?
Um, I would be honest, and I would say I was really uh, in a reactive state of mind, pissed off, and very, it felt as if I've been let down by my team. I've not, the team has not met my expectation, and it seemed as if nothing will move if I'm not there, and it is a heavy burden on me, right? And it felt as if um, I'm not doing my work properly. And that was
Okay.
a
So that's
realization.
the second part, though, right? Because at first you said, I felt that I was let down by my team, right? And how did that transformation then happen in your mind, that you went from, okay, the team isn't pulling their weight, to actually what happened was that I failed? Like how did that transformation happen?
So, at that time, I had not realized what I was doing, why everybody is waiting for me. That realization was still not there. Now, as I said, I had an agile coach who was mentoring me throughout this product development, and I did bring this up, saying, what's going on, what can I do, and and that's where the art of letting go is also so important, and that's what this agile coach talked to me about. The the project manager in me wanted that control, wanted that predictability, wanted to make sure things happen correctly, wanted that that confidence that things are going right, and that was not letting me let go of that control. So that was a revelation for me. And obviously it was not a one day change, it evolved, but I realized, with that realization, that trigger, I was aware that I need to make changes. I need to make amends in the way I engage with my team.
So how did that, like, what did you find that helped you to learn to let go of control? Because you said it very clearly that as a project manager, you were of the mindset that you needed to know everything that was going on and you needed to tell people what to do, right? And now you're here in a situation after you come back from your leave and you find that chaos is everywhere, and you're thinking, okay, so what is it that needs to change? What did you find that supported that transition from wanting to control to being able to let go?
Um, Again, it was more from how the team wanted to work, right? So they had these things blocked. but they could not move forward just because I was not there. But they wanted to work, so they picked up something new, and they just made a pile up of unfinished work and ongoing work, and the client was not happy on not having a visibility of what happened in last week or so. And when the team went back and said, what, this sprint we don't have anything, we had so many blockers and stuff. That was the trigger where we said, why can't we talk to each other? Why can't you talk to each other? Why can't the teams collaborate? Why can't and that led to a new ways of working within the team as well. The questions, even I can be in marked in copy, but they can talk to the client, and the client was happy. They said, I'm getting value out of this this proof of concept, so I am happy to respond back if you have questions. And that was the first step towards letting go of my control, letting go of my project manager's mindset. And it started that dominoes effect on me to, ask questions, ask the team, why are you asking me? What if you were there? What would you do? And that was a good start to my change of my mindset.
Absolutely. And in the end, a change of mindset is kind of keyword or a key phrase to mean doing things differently, right? And what you just said, this tip about, okay, so let's talk to the team and tell them that, hey, you can't wait for me, right? Like when you have a question and I'm not around, you have to ask the customer directly. And it's okay to ask the customer, and here's how you do it, and so on. So doing things differently is what makes the mindset change real.
Yeah, it is so true. And it's tough, and but it starts with realization. It starts with awareness, and then and then a desire to change, a desire to make amends. And that's what I have felt throughout my career as well. If there is a desire, you would make amends. Otherwise, you're just gonna stay where you are.
Absolutely. And staying where you are is guaranteed to give you the same results you're not happy about.
Yes, so true.
Thank you for sharing that story, Rohit.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, thanks for making me think about it again. So it's really pleasant to even talk about it.
Monday is about what we learn from our obstacles and our failures. But tomorrow is Team Tuesday here on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. We explore teams and their journeys, the habits they develop that threaten their performance, how each of our guests help their teams evolve, and the one key lesson they learned from that experience. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.